If your kapha energy is out of whack, there are lots of ways to bring it back to balance. And in this video, I'll show you how to adjust your lifestyle and diet to do just that. Hey there, I'm Katie. I am a certified Chopra Ayurveda Health Instructor and a yoga instructor. And on this channel, I post videos all about creating overall health and wellness through lifestyle practices and yoga. So if that interests you, consider subscribing for new content on Tuesdays and ringing the bell to get notified anytime a new video posts. So today we are talking all about how to balance the kapha dosha. But before we get going here, and in case this is brand new to you, I have an entire video explaining what the doshas are. So I will link that here as well as below in the description. And then make sure you know what your dosha is. Now to find that out, you can take my dosha quiz. So that's going to tell you whether you're a vata, pitta, kapha, or maybe some blend of those three. The link to that quiz is also below in the description. But let's get into this. Now, it's really important to note whether or not kapha is your primary dosha. We all have at least some kapha energy within us. So the tips that I'm going to share with you here are helpful for everyone because it is likely that you will experience a kapha imbalance at some point, regardless of your primary dosha, okay? Now, the kapha dosha is what holds everything together. So it provides structure and stability in us and in everything around us. So its qualities are cool, stable, solid, smooth, heavy, and slow. And these qualities are important to understand in order to fix a kapha imbalance. So first, let's just look at some of the signs of a kapha imbalance. If your kapha is out of whack, any number of these issues may crop up. You become attached and clingy to people and things. You get needy and overly protective with both people and things. You're noticing that you've become complacent and dull. You don't feel like doing anything, least of all anything active. You just kind of want to withdraw. Emotionally, you may feel really greedy or envious, and physically, maybe you've gained some weight. You have more sinus and allergy and congestion problems. You may even develop diabetes. Swelling is a sign of a kapha imbalance, as is wet eczema, or you might even see cystic pimples form on your skin. All signs of a kapha imbalance. So what these symptoms mean is that you've got too much kapha and it needs to be reduced. So a dosha imbalance means you have too much of its qualities. Now to fix a kapha imbalance, we want to bring in the opposite qualities. So for kapha, those are the qualities of dryness, warmth, lightness, speed, roughness, fluidity, and movement. Now I know that sounds a little abstract, but there are actually very tangible ways to bring in more of these qualities. So we are going to break these out. We'll look at them as lifestyle and then dietary recommendations. So starting with lifestyle. Okay, first, seek out dry, heated environments. So the dryness combined with the heat will bring in more of both vata and pitta doshas, which will help balance kapha. So if you live near a desert climate, you are all set. But if a vacation maybe to Arizona is just not an option for you, a dry sauna is also a great choice. Even sitting by a cozy fire or a space heater will get the job done. So you do have options. So seek out dry heat. Okay, second, get up and out of bed as soon as you wake up. Now this is a challenging one for kapha because they like to stay in bed for a while. They like to ease into their day, maybe scroll through their phones before they step foot out of the bed. But this is going to increase kapha, right? When you're slow to get up, that heavy, sleepy grogginess sticks with you. And it can be really hard to get your day going. So do your very best to get up right away as soon as your eyes blink open. Next, break up your routine. So kaphas are really regimented and reliable, and that's great when it comes to staying organized and getting things done. But we need that balance of routine and flexibility. So try mixing things up from the usual. Maybe you visit a new coffee shop. Maybe you take a different route to work. These are just small things that can actually be really balancing for kapha. Now, along those same lines, the next tip is to try something outside your comfort zone. Kaphas are stubborn. They do not like change. And listen, being steadfast is one thing, but kaphas run the risk of getting stuck in one place and never evolving from that one place. So try to step outside of your typical box. Say yes to something new or something adventurous, something you've never tried, or maybe something that sparks your creative side, and see if that gives you an energetic boost. All right, next, get rid of the clutter. Now, kaphas, you love to hang on to everything, and you know, kaphas really like a feeling of abundance. That's understandable, but over time, it simply becomes too much and it will weigh you down. You will begin to feel stagnant in your body and your mind. So in general, the tip here is to keep your physical space clean and free of clutter. So clean out a closet, get rid of the junk in your garage. Shedding that physical stuff will help you feel lighter. And finally, get in some vigorous exercise. So because kapha energy moves more slowly, you want to bring in energetic, heart-pumping activities. So work up a sweat. Really, any kind of cardio or aerobic exercise is perfect, but make it fun for yourself. Maybe that's dancing or group fitness or spin class or rock climbing. These are all great choices for kapha, but be sure that you're doing something that you enjoy, just so that you stick with it. So those are some ways to balance out the qualities of kapha through lifestyle practices. Now let's look at some food recommendations. So since kapha is heavy and slow, the best foods to balance it are dry and light and spicy. So light grains like quinoa and couscous, fibrous fruits like apples and berries, and warm cooked vegetables. These are all awesome. Kapha's number one food though is honey. So honey actually has a heating and scraping quality to it, which is really balancing for kapha because that scraping quality will help keep your channels and your passages clear. So you don't get as easily congested, for example, which is awesome. Also worth a mention, specific to meal times. Kaphas do really well just eating 2 meals per day. So one large meal around lunchtime and then one light meal in the late afternoon or early evening. This is really good for kapha, especially if you're someone maybe who's trying to lose a little weight. You don't actually need a ton of food as a kapha. So if you can scale back to 2 good quality meals per day, you'll start to see some noticeable change. Now let's go over specific tastes. So there are some tastes that kapha should favor and there are some that they should try to reduce. So a really quick primer on tastes. There are 6 of them in Ayurveda. There's sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. Now the goal is to include all 6 tastes in every single meal. But if you have a kapha imbalance, you can adjust how much of these tastes you eat to help remedy that. So for a kapha imbalance, you should favor pungent, bitter, and astringent tastes in your diet, and then reduce sweet, sour, and salty. Now I'll give you some examples here, starting with the foods to favor for a kapha imbalance. So these tastes increase metabolism, they reduce body mass, but they also help wring out excess kapha just by drying it up and moving it along, okay? So pungent foods, these help bring in the heat. So pretty much anything spicy is awesome for kapha because it helps stoke your digestive fire. Hot peppers, salsa, but also things like mustard and ginger or even basil. Now the bitter taste brings in the lightness that kaphas need for balance. So some examples of bitter foods are green and yellow vegetables, green leafy vegetables, almonds, coffee, turmeric is another one. And then astringent foods will have a drying quality. So things like beans, lentils, pomegranates, cranberries, tea, and dark greens. All right, so to recap, if you are feeling like you may have a kapha imbalance, go for more pungent, bitter, and astringent foods in your diet, and you should start to feel warmer and lighter overall. Now let's look at the tastes to avoid. Again, those are sweet, sour, and salty. So you will find the sweet taste in things like bread, pasta, potatoes. You'll also find it in milk, meat, and oils. The sour taste is found in citrus fruit, but also things like cheese and yogurt, pickles, vinegar, and tomatoes. And the salty taste will obviously come from table or sea salt, but it's also found in a lot of sauces as well as seafood. So those three tastes, sweet, sour, and salty, those are all going to aggravate kapha. So you do not need to completely remove those foods from your diet, but reducing them will help you balance. So to recap, favor pungent, bitter, and astringent, and reduce sweet, sour, and salty. All right? And there you have it, a bunch of ways to help you balance kapha through lifestyle practices and your diet. Now, I have lots of other information for you to check out because we're just scratching the surface here. You can start by downloading my Wellness with Katie app, which I have linked below. It is full of on-demand wellness tips and tutorials grounded in Ayurveda, and also lots of free on-demand yoga classes as well. And I'd also invite you to check out my quarterly wellness journal. So this is an amazing tool for kapha because not only is it a tool to assist you with your detail-oriented schedule, to-do lists, routines, it's also a goal-setting tool to help you try new things. Plus, it has an entire section dedicated to mindfulness, so you can develop a gratitude and a journaling practice, which are both really balancing for kapha. I use mine every single day. Friends, if you like this video, let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it with someone who might find it useful, and also comment below with what you found helpful about this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.